Hey, and welcome to Wise Words TV. And today I'm joined by Cap, who is a hypnotherapist and an RTT therapist. So I'm very excited to find out more about both of those things. I have worked with hypnotherapists before, but never someone that does the rapid transformational therapy. So talk to me a little bit about what that means.
Yeah, absolutely. So, rapid transformational therapy is actually a very new, innovative method that was created less than 30 years ago. And it mixes hypnotherapy and different techniques of psychology. So, we mix both inside an hypnotherapy session, it's around 2 hour sessions, and that allows to have much faster results. So, in general, when I work with a client on self confidence, it's probably going to be just 2 sessions.
Yeah.
If I work on a client on emotional eating, it might be just 1 session. It's actually a really, really fast results, which is very exciting.
Oh, so what would you do if someone said, I just want the hypnotherapy and not the RT side of it? Is that set, would you do that? Can you do that separately? How does it work if you don't do yeah,
I've done it in the past for people who wanted to stop smoking or
yeah,
stop certain addictions. I don't do it anymore just
right.
because I'm actually seeing less good results. And to be honest, a lot of hypnotherapists will end up doing some stuff from psychology as well.
Yeah.
But the sessions are going to make the most impact. It's actually going back to the root cause of why you started smoking. So even for like an addiction, you want to understand where that comes from.
Yeah.
So in general, I could, but I just don't want to because it provides less good results for my
Yeah.
clients.
Yeah. Okay. And I saw something you'd written about cravings recently. So it was like you can have sugar cravings and nicotine cravings and all these different cravings. And people kind of think, okay, I'm going to stop. And as long as I've got enough willpower, I'll be able to do it. Or people even say, oh yeah, I stopped smoking just through willpower or whatever that is. Actually, my son used to suck his fingers and would say he stopped through willpower, but there was different methods that we use to kind of help, but the willpower is part of it. But I saw in your post that you said that you have to go to the root cause as well and do that work. It can't just be willpower alone.
Yeah, it's very interesting. Like willpower actually doesn't work. It's one element that's important. Willpower is basically when you decide something for yourself because you believe that change is good for you. So that's willpower. However, if you only reflect on the future, on what's good for you, but you don't understand why you've been doing it, you might actually go back into the pattern. I had a client recently, it was about emotional eating. She struggled for years on different diets and all of it. And she never understood why she absolutely had to eat chocolate at night in
Okay.
front of TV. Like,
Okay.
why was that such like, it was like impulsive. She had to.
Right.
And we went back to, and she told me, I don't understand. I have zero willpower. And I'm like, of course you have willpower because you're in front of me right now. You actually want to solve this. So this
Yeah.
is willpower.
Yeah.
But the root cause for her specifically was that when she was really young, before her dad divorced her mom, the only connection and loving time she had with her dad was when he brought a chocolate piece to her when she was 2 or 3 years old. And so she made that connection and that was one of the moments in her life before the divorce where she felt so supported, loved. She felt her needs were being listened. And so in her subconscious mind, she didn't even remember about it. But in her subconscious mind, that was her way for her to eat that chocolate when she was an adult to give herself some love and support and to find that comfort. The moment we understood that, then she told me, but Kat, I actually don't need that chocolate to love myself and do all of this. And I'm like, yeah, exactly. So
Yeah.
inside the hypnotherapy session, that's when she was like, okay, what about I actually make myself, I loved what she recommended for herself. She was like, I'm going to make myself a really nice glass of water with strawberries and cucumber in it. And it's going to be an awesome treat and so good for me.
Yeah.
And she texted me and she's like, yeah, it works.
Oh,
So
that's
once you
amazing.
understand where that comes from, you can completely change it. And then, of course, willpower comes in question, but willpower alone is actually not enough.
Yeah. There's a real thing about with the comfort eating thing or rewarding yourself with food. I always find, because I think about this a lot with my kids, in that when kids are little, particularly when they're very, very little, or maybe like toddlers or whatever, and they hurt themselves or they're upset, we often will try and calm them down or comfort them with food. Or, oh, do you want a snack? Or there's something around that, and it's probably learned behavior from a very young age. And it might not be that it's triggered from a traumatic event like a divorce, but it could just that learned behavior, especially, the breastfeeding side of things, when the baby's crying and you feed them and it's comforting. So it's almost ingrained in us without even the trauma side of it. And that's why it's hard as an adult for that we all comfort eat, I suppose, in a way, or reward ourselves
Yeah.
with wine or chocolate or whatever that looks like. So it's very
Absolutely.
difficult.
Difficult. And what's so interesting is, like, as you said, you don't need a big trauma to have those habits. Like, I had that habit with like biscuits every evening. It's just the
Yes.
thing. And it's like, it comes back to actually noticing those habits and rewiring under hypnotherapy. It's very, very simple, very easy. But it's like, do you also want to rewire that? Do you actually need to stop eating those biscuits? If you just eat one every evening, that makes you happy, that's
Yeah.
okay. It's
Yeah.
just about figuring out what do you actually want to change in your life that will make you feel better, and then getting some support to do that. You don't have to do it alone. You don't have to suffer from it.
Yeah.
The same way with, like, I'm very against diets. Like, we have a lot of people who lose weight on our programs, but we do it very differently. We do it through like psychology, etc. Diets is actually like completely wrong, because you just restrain yourself, and then after a few months you haven't changed the root cause of why you're using food to make you
Yeah.
feel better. So
Yeah.
once you change that, it's way better.
Yeah.
So we all have that. The question is, do you really need to change it? If so, there is a much easier way to do it.
Right. It's a really good point. And obviously then it's more sustainable. The problem with diets is it's so hard to keep up with because you
Yeah. Oh yeah.
constantly up and down. So tell me about the other side of your business. So you've got, is it Holorise? How do you say it?
Holorise.
Tell me
Holorise.
about that.
Yeah. So originally, actually, I was not at all in psychology and an hypnotherapist. I
Yeah.
started in business. I actually graduated in finance, worked in management consulting and in tech. I then had my own company as an entrepreneur, a tech company in London. And throughout that, I burned out 3 times in 3 different careers. And each time I thought, oh, but it's because of the job. So the first one was the toxic culture. The second one was, oh, it's just not a job for me. But at some point I told myself, you know what? Maybe to burn out 3 times in 3 different careers, it has nothing to do with me.
Yeah.
So I started looking a bit more at myself in my third burnout. And that's when I discovered a lot of things. I also discovered that I had a depression for 10 years that I never treated and all of this. So I did a lot of work on myself, which led me to actually know about RTT. That's how because I did RTT on myself. I had been on therapy for 10 years. It worked on some aspects, but to therapy is amazing to work on the conscious mind, not the subconscious. So I still had a lot of blockages. And then I tried RTT and I was like, wait. Why don't people know about this? This is amazing. So I decided to train in it. At the same time, I was training to become a burnout coach for entrepreneurs because I wanted to help entrepreneurs avoid what I was going through. And so I kind of built like 2 practices at the same time, a burnout practice and hypnotherapy practice. The hypnotherapy practice, I was working on a bit everything, whether it's emotional eating, smoking, self-confidence, all of it. At some point, I started having a lot of entrepreneurs as clients. And that's when, with my co-founder, who is a holistic health coach, we decided to create Holorise because my entrepreneurs kept telling me, Cap, this is awesome. You're giving me burnout tips. You're giving me a morning routine. But then I'm talking to my nutritionist, and then I'm talking to my PT, and then I'm talking to this business coach, and all your plans, like, they make me go crazy. Like, they don't go together. It's so hard to follow 4 different plans from 4 different experts.
Yeah.
So I talked to my co-founder and we decided to go in business together. He's a holistic health coach. And he told me, okay, we need to create 360 plans for entrepreneurs and professionals so that they can first get one unique plan that actually works for them. The morning routine will give them tips for burnout, but also for the exercising, for nutrition, for all of it at the same time. So they don't spend 4 hours per week on calls with experts, especially as entrepreneurs. They don't have time. Professionals, moms. I have a lot of moms as clients who honestly, they don't have time to be on 4 hours call per week. So they end up working with us because every week we decide whether they should talk to my co-founder or me, depending on whether they need to work on holistic health or on mindset or stress management. There are a few specific things that then we're going to work with external experts, like nutritionists, but the rest, we cover most of it. And so that's why we created Holorise, to simplify the life of our clients.
Wow, that's so exciting. And how long have you been doing Holorise?
It's been, we've experimented it unofficially before, and then we made it official a year ago.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool. So if we think about 2025, and we're now kind of right at the end of it, and what's everything that's gone on this year, has there been anything that you've said yes to, any kind of wise words or wise kind of opportunities, let's say, that have come your way that you said yes to, that you'll look back and you're like, I'm really glad I did that?
Oof. Yeah, actually, that was a tricky decision for me at the beginning of 2025. It's been almost a year. Well, it's going fast. At the beginning of 2025, I got the opportunity to deepen my expertise into RTT. I wanted to go much deeper into depression, traumatic work, etc. To do that, I had to go back full time to study and in the RTT program. And so I decided to take a break from my coaching practice, stop developing the business. And it was going so well. I had a lot of word of mouth. There was a lot of momentum. So for me to say like, no, I'm not taking any clients and go back to school and like go deeper in all of that was like, I was super scared. I was like, am I making the right business decision? The coaching is going so well. Holorise is starting to pick up, but I don't regret it. It was the best because like I added so much to my toolbox. And now when I have sessions with clients, I can mix coaching and RTT within the same session sometimes. And it's just the combo is just so powerful that I'm like, no regret. But it was scary to say no to all the revenues and to tighten a bit the bell, financial bell.
It's hearing that as a business owner, I'm like, oh, it's a really scary decision, because it's not only the time you're away from the business, it's also when you come back to the business, having to build it all back up again. And that's the side that's really difficult as well.
Yeah. And you have to stick to it it took me like 6-7 weeks where I came back to the business and it was slow. And I was like, was it worth it? And then catched up and my clients came back and word of mouth came back. And then I had sessions and I could see how much I could bring in the sessions with the new knowledge. I was like, I did it right. I don't know. But now I know.
That's a brilliant yes then. How long were you studying full time then? How long did you have to take off?
So I was studying full time for coaching a few years ago to become a coach because I was in business before. So when I made that transition, I wanted to study and become a burnout coach specifically. I also wanted to get a lot of knowledge on burnout, depression, etc. So I went back full time, then built my coaching practice, and then I went back full time again for a good 7 months.
Okay. And when with the burnout stuff, because I find burnout really interesting. I haven't had it myself, but it's so prevalent, and I know people that have. And I think one of the big things is quite often people don't know or recognize that they've got it, or even that they had it. So how do you explain that to people who don't know they're going through burnout, or you can spot the signs that it's coming when people don't necessarily know about it? I'd be interested to know how you do that in terms of getting clients when they might not know they have it.
Completely. I have to be honest, most of my clients, they are deep in burnout when they come to me.
Right.
And having been through it, I know I made that mistake as well. I wish clients would come to me before they go deep into it because it's so much quicker to recover. It's so much quicker. If you're deep into it, it takes much longer to recover. What I try to do, I do a lot of burnout prevention sessions, workshops, masterclasses. I did one at London Business School a few weeks ago again, together with all the entrepreneurs. What I always tell them is if you spend more than 2 weeks completely exhausted, not feeling like you're really yourself and having decision fatigue, like real decision fatigue, every day you need to take a decision, you're like, I can't take a decision. I don't know anymore. If you spend more than 2 weeks like this, without having better days, it's already a first sign. It cannot go much longer. Do an intervention, take 2 days off to completely not look at work, completely like unwind. So that's going to be the first sign. After that is going to be physical signs. The most common is stomach ache and headaches.
Right.
Headaches at the end of the day. If you're having headaches 3 days per week at the end of your day, it means you're pushing yourself too much. You might not be drinking enough water extra, but this will actually compound and this will have an impact on your body. So look at the physical symptoms. I hear a lot of my clients who come and they tell me, yeah, but I'm just someone who has a lot of headaches. No, you're not someone who has a lot of headaches. You're someone who is pushing yourself way too much and at the borderline of burnout. Headaches is going to be a big one. Stomach ache, as I mentioned. If your body is to the point when you have a presentation at work or you have a big thing coming up, pitching to an investor, etc., and you start having stomach ache, it means you're already not processing your stress in a healthy way.
Okay.
So if your body starts reacting and telling you through physical symptoms, it's because you already reached your threshold.
Wow.
So that's another sign, actually.
Yeah.
And then, so those are standards, but then everyone's different. Everyone.
Yeah.
A lot of people who end up in burnout, it's often because of a mix of two things. The first one is they're not happy in the now, which means that they're so focused on trying to get to the next step and their next goal without really knowing why anymore. But they're so focused on that promotion or on that pitch or fundraising or these kind of things. And they forget to take care of themselves in the process. That's the first one. The second one is they lost their why, their purpose. And
Right.
you don't need a job with impact or anything, but what you need is to make sure that why are you working so hard in this job? What does that bring you? What does that give you? Is it learning? Is it knowledge? Is it a next step to the big goal? Is it really good money because you're in stage of life where you want to travel a lot and enjoy family time? What is it giving you and why?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's
So interesting. I feel like the name almost downplays the severity of it. But when you say burnout, you kind of, because it's almost like a phrase that people have used when they're tired or feeling a bit burnt out. But actually, and now that's been assigned to this really quite severe condition. And I almost wish that it had a different name that really did
yeah.
reflect the severity of it, because I think it's very
Yeah.
easy to play it down when you just say, oh, I'm a bit burnt out. Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah, completely. I know what you mean. That's why when I have calls with my clients, I always basically try to put them on a scale of 0 to 5. On the burnout scale, where are they actually? Because I agree with you, burnout, like you can be in a very deep burnout, be at number 5, and that's a very severe condition. That's something
Yeah.
like personally, my last burnout, it took me almost a year to recover from it. It's
Wow.
very, and my first burnout actually took me 2 weeks. I was in a tiny burnout. But it's important to know where you stand, because then we also recommend different approaches. So I agree with you. I kind of wish there were 2 names, like the deep burnout and then an intermediary name.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay, so with that in mind, and knowing you've burnt out before in the past 3 times, and you're now have 2 kind of businesses going on and all this stuff, and you're training still and learning still, is there like a wise words or a mantra or anything that you try and live your life or your business by that help you remember not to do it again and not to go down that path again?
Mm. I have actually 2 mantras, like 2 affirmations I tell myself every morning. It's
Okay.
very interesting. It's very simple. Like it sounds silly, but when I brush my teeth every single day, I basically tell myself today is going to be an amazing day. No, structure my day. And I start thinking about like every block of my day. And I visualize every block going the most incredible. Like, what's the best outcome that could go? And I let myself dream. And it takes me a minute. And the second big affirmation I tell myself that helps me avoid burnout and not put that much pressure on myself. I know that I'm giving the best I can every single day. And that's enough.
Yeah.
That's enough. And I don't have to be perfect. I don't have to show up on that podcast and know every single answer. I know that I'm just going to be myself and give the best that I can, because my goal is to help people.
Yeah.
Stop there.
Yeah.
Remove
It's coming.
so
I love that. I think both of those are amazing wise words that people could take away, especially the teeth brushing. It's that idea of habit stacking, right? That people talk about a lot. In that if you're doing something anyway, stack something on top of it and it makes it easier for it to stick. And what else are you going to do while you brush your teeth? You might as well be positively visualizing and affirming how your day is going to go. I think that's brilliant.
habit stacking is the best.
Yeah, brilliant. Okay. Well, thank you so much, Cap, for being on Wise Words
You're
TV. I've really
welcome.
enjoyed it. So if somebody wants to find out more about what you do, where would you suggest they go?
On our website would be the
Okay.
best, because then they can read about RTT coaching, what we do, but it's going to be holorise.co.
Okay.
So not .com, but .co.
All right, brilliant.
And last detail, if they
Yes.
want, they can always book a free discovery call with us. So either with me or my co-founder, depending on what they want. Either way, we share information to have the full approach.
Yeah.
But yeah, book a discovery call. I'm happy to help in just 30 minutes.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Bye-bye.
Bye.